Hello, 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 everybody. Hope you're having a wonderful day, whether you are coming to the end of the day or just starting the day or in the middle of the day, depending on where you are. We're so glad that you joined us tonight. Tonight here in the States, anyways. I know we've got people here from Australia and California and Nebraska and Idaho and Florida, which we're keeping people in Florida and all of those on the East Coast in our thoughts and prayers. So, but welcome and welcome, Oregon. I see you. Hope you're all having a fabulous, fabulous day. So as everybody is coming in, I just want to welcome you to Q&A with pharmacist Ben Fuchs and Becca. My name is Becca Dukes, and I'm honored to be able to host this program for the next hour, hour and a half-ish, where pharmacist Ben shares some wonderful information, some health moments with us that empowers us as individuals to be able to take the information, utilize it within our own lives in order to create a better health journey. So everybody, I hope you are ready, because he always has a fabulous message. And I do want to make sure that everybody understands that this program is not meant to prevent, treat, cure any type of diseases. It's not meant to take the place of your primary care physician. And if you do decide to start a supplement program, one, get back with the person that invited you to this program and tell them, hey, what are they talking about? I want some, because you will feel a difference. And I think I can say that I can promise you that, but maybe not. Anyways, I just want to say hello and welcome. And I know I didn't get the full disclosure in there, so I will pull that up, but we will do that again later on in the show. But for now, welcome, pharmacist Benjamin Knight Fuchs. We are so glad that you take the time from your busy schedule to join us. And I know this is not a Saturday for those of you who are expecting Saturday, but hey, I know you've got some great information to share, so please share with us.
Well, first of all, thank you, Rebecca. That was very kind. This is my busy schedule. This is what I do. I'm not taking time out of my busy schedule. This is what I do. And this is what I do. We pharmacists, we're trained to do things like people. And I'm sorry, I think there's somebody. You got to mute. Hit the mute button.
Try that again, Ben.
Yeah, so this is what I do. This is what pharmacists do. And this is what Dr. Wallach does. And this is what Youngevity does. This is what you do, Becca. We all do this. So I'm not taking time out of my busy schedule. This is my schedule. This is what I do. As is you. You're not taking time out of your busy schedule. This is what you do. So thank you, Rebecca, for doing it. And then, you gave that disclaimer. I didn't quite catch everything. This is not meant to cure or prevent whatever disease. I hate that we have to say that because, okay, this is meant to cure and prevent dis-ease. That's exactly what we're doing. I know you have to do this disclaimer. I understand that. But we have this idea that we're too stupid to help people or to help ourselves. And we're told that we're too stupid to do it. And we got to go to some authority to do it. We don't. It's simple. It's very basic. It's right built into the word. Dis-ease. Your body's out of ease. It's as simple as that. So I forgot the second half of your disclaimer, but the first half was this is not meant to prevent and blah, blah, blah disease. You can say that, but I'm telling you here that everything you're learning that I talk about is exactly meant to prevent disease, to put you back in ease. And it's not because of me, it's because of you and because it's in your body's nature to heal. This is a very important point about the healing process. Every time you cut yourself, your skin heals. You don't have to ask it. You don't have to tell it. You don't have to go to a doctor, an authority, a pharmacist, some kind of great guru of health to get your skin to heal. It heals. That's its nature. Now, if you're missing something, or if you're putting the wrong things in, then it might not heal as well as it should. That means you got to replace what's missing. You got to keep the wrong stuff from getting in. It's really as simple as that. Health is Good stuff in, bad stuff out. That's pretty much it. Good stuff in, bad stuff out. Now, it's not just nutrition and it's not just nutritional supplementation. It's good thoughts. It's good emotions. It's good spiritual connection. It's bad thoughts. It's bad emotions. It's bad or disconnection or misconnection or lack of connection that accounts for our poor health. It's really that simple. And we have been told for our whole lives, conditioned for our whole lives, to believe that when we're sick, we're helpless. One of the common phrases that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up is, my doctor told me, my doctor ordered me, my doctor wants me. It's this idea where we become infantilized. We become like children and our health authorities become our parents. And we become like, we go back, we regress in time to when we were helpless and we needed somebody outside of us to take care of us. And so what I like to do and what Dr. Wallach does and what Youngevity is really all about is about getting our freedom back, breaking the shackles of the medical tyranny that would tell us that we have to be injected, we have to be medicated, we have to be surgically carved up like a Christmas turkey in order to get our health, our God-given health back to us. And it's not true. And I want to dissuade everybody from believing that if they're dealing with a health challenge and they have a loved one who's dealing with a health challenge. That's a long way of a roundabout way of saying, yes, we are here to prevent illnesses, to prevent dis-ease, and it's not that complicated. Now, when Rebecca was texting me and we were communicating before we did the conversation, Rebecca always gives me ideas and things that we can talk about. And she gave me a few ideas, and one really stood out to me, and that is muscle gaining and supporting through intention. I had to ask Rebecca what intention meant, and she explained. It made sense. That means through actually focusing on it, through wanting it, through consciousness, through paying attention to it. And so I thought that would be a good subject to talk about, not because of muscle building, but because of body building, muscle building being part of body building. When we talk about restoring the body to health or maintaining health, what we're really talking about is bodybuilding, not bodybuilding like Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding, where you're getting your muscles all ripped up, but building the body, making the body stronger. All of health is about building your body, and muscle building is one part of that. The body is always in a condition of building, and it's always in a condition of breaking down. These two things are happening simultaneously, building up and breaking down. Building up technically is called anabolism. Breaking down is technically called catabolism. Anabolism, you guys may have heard of the term anabolic steroids. That's been around for a while. And steroid hormones are part of the anabolic process. As it turns out, they're also part of the catabolic process, and breaking down and building up are regulated by various hormones, specifically steroid hormones. The body's always breaking down and building up. It's always anabolic and catabolic. It's kind of like a business. When you have a business, you're always spending money, but you're always making money. It's not like you're not going to spend money when you're in business. You have to spend money to be in business, just like in the body. You have to break down the body if you're in business, if you're in the business of living, and you have to build up the body if you're in the business of living. And it's the relationship between anabolism and catabolism that accounts for how healthy we will be. When we are sick, we are more break down than build up. Our body business is in the red. In a business, you're in the black when you're making more than you're spending. You're in the red when you're breaking down more than when you're spending more than you're making. Body's like a business. When we're healthy, we're in the black. We're building more than we're breaking down. When we're young, we're in the black. If you ever look at a little kid, that's a great business right there. You look at ourselves, unfortunately, or older folks, that's not a great business. That's a business that's about to go under for a lot of folks because they're in the red. Our body's chemistry is in the red. Now, technically, build up is anabolism, and breakdown is catabolism. It doesn't matter how much you're making, how much you're building, how much you're spending, how much you're breaking down. It matters the bottom line. Anabolism and catabolism together form a bottom line called metabolism. And you've all heard the word metabolism, but probably didn't know exactly what it was. Metabolism is the sum total of breaking down and building up. And if we're old and breaking down, what we just got to figure out is how to build up. There's only a few causes of breakdown. Number one, nutritional deficiencies. Number two, toxicities. And number three, hypoxia or low levels of oxygen. The only three basic reasons why we break down. You guys have probably heard me say all disease is cell disease, and all diseases, all chronic diseases are really about the cell, even though we focus on the organ and we focus on the symptoms, it's really about a sick cell. Well, the cell is like a microcosm of the body. Just like there's only three things that go wrong with a cell: starvation, suffocation, and toxification. There's only three things that go wrong with the body: starvation, lack of nutrition; suffocation, lack of oxygen; and toxification, which accumulates from all kinds of sources, intentionally through foods and unintentionally through various toxins that are in our environment. So when we talk about muscle building, that's just one component of building the body, one component of anabolism. Nonetheless, there are a lot of things, a lot of benefits that are associated with muscle building. You don't have to be a gym rat. You don't have to have bulging biceps or bulging pecs to benefit from building muscle. Building muscle will just allow you to ambulate more effectively, to walk more effectively, to bend down and pick things up more effectively, to lift things more effectively. And as we get older, all of these things become problematic. So strength training is incredibly important and incredibly valuable as we get older, above and beyond its benefits for young folks, for athletes, for people who want to look good in a bikini or in a bathing suit. Just the idea of building muscle can help you, can improve your quality of life and allow you to be more free and more liberated from needing assistance as we get older. So building muscle becomes as important for the older person as it is for the younger person who wants to look good. So how do you do it? Well, the body is this amazing, amazing system that is technically referred to as an anti-fragile system. It's not fragile. It's not non-fragile. It's anti-fragile. If you haven't heard that term, it's understandable because we've only really been talking about it for about 5 or 10 years since a guy named Nassim Taleb wrote a book called Anti-Fragility. And he came up with the concept of anti-fragile. A fragile system is a system that breaks. Porcelain is a fragile system. Glass is a fragile system. These are fragile. If you drop glass, you drop a mirror, you drop a porcelain or china, it's going to break. It's fragile. A non-fragile system is a system that doesn't break. Steel is non-fragile. Iron is non-fragile. Bricks are non-fragile. Rocks are non-fragile. And until recently, we thought that we didn't know about a third type of fragility. We only thought things were either fragile or not fragile. Well, it turns out there's another type of fragility that's called anti-fragility. And these are systems that don't break down when they're dropped, and they're not impervious to damage when they're dropped. Instead, these are systems that are incredibly fascinating because they grow when they're dropped. They grow under stress. An anti-fragile system is a system that grows when it is under duress, when it's under stress. Now, you guys, some of you may know this, I'm in the skin business. And in the skin business, one of the most important things you could do to keep your skin healthy is stress it with either lasers or chemical peels or alpha hydroxy acids or loofah pads or pumice scrubs. There's all kinds of ways to disrupt the surface of the skin. It's called exfoliation. And that process turns on the production of connective tissue, wrinkle-fighting fibers. It stimulates the growth of cells. It turns everything on. The skin's a classic anti-fragile system. Even the word exfoliation refers to leaves. Exfolia. Folia means leaves. Ex means to remove leaves. And this term comes from another anti-fragile system, which is plants. Plants are also anti-fragile in the sense that if you trim your leaves back, you put stress on your leaves, they grow back nice and thick and bushy. And every gardener knows that's how you make your plants nice and thick and bushy. You prune it back. In fact, it's not just the leaves, but fruits of plants are more nutritious, have more nutritional value when they're grown under stressful conditions. When they're grown on islands where there's lots of wind, for example, or on mountaintops. So plants are also anti-fragile systems. And guess what else? The body is an anti-fragile system, which is somewhat ironic in our world where we're all told that we have too much stress in our lives, that we have to stop stressing so much, right? Rebecca, you're smiling. Stop stressing so much. You got too much stress going on. Why are you stressing so much? Stop stressing. When do you think you have the least amount of stress in your entire life? Rebecca, you help me.
When you're a child.
No. Guess
Oh.
again.
Huh?
Guess again. No.
Least amount of stress when you're sleeping.
No. People grind their teeth when they're sleeping.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, you look especially beautiful today, I have to say.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. But
So when do you have the least amount of stress?
I don't know, but I know stress expands me.
Well, yes.
Oh,
That's
I just got a text message from one of my co-hosts, and it's when you're dead.
Yes. Bingo.
Heather, you're so smart.
When you're dead. Who said that?
Heather.
There. That's exactly right. Stress, you have no stress when you're dead. As long as you're alive, you're going to have stress. And the issue is not stress, because stress is good for you in the sense that it turns on growth. For example, why do you think glucosamine helps you build cartilage and connective tissue in general? Not just cartilage, but it helps you build bone. It helps you build collagen in your skin. It helps you get stronger blood vessels. Our glucogel caps help you build all the connective tissue in the body, whether it's in your heart or your blood vessels or in your joints or in your bones or in your skin or in your fascia that holds all your organs together. Why is it that glucosamine does that? What is it about glucosamine? Let me tell you. The body is built such that when it is broken, it triggers, breaks trigger growth. Glucosamine is a piece of connective tissue that tells the body it's injured. Under ordinary circumstances, when glucosamine was floating in the blood, it represented an injury because there were no nutritional supplements on the African savanna. Nobody was taking glucosamine through our evolutionary history. Throughout our evolutionary history, glucosamine in the blood did not mean we were taking a supplement. It meant there was an injury. So pieces of connective tissue tell the body to build. When the body is broken down, that signals building. This is why collagen peptides are so building, so anabolic. Again, they tell the body that it's been broken. So what exercise does, what resistance training does, it tells the body that it better build up. When you do resistance training, when you lift weights, for example, and I'm using lifting weights as an example, but you don't have to lift weights to do resistance training. There are bands that you can get on Amazon for $5. You can even do that. Absolutely. You can do 12-ounce curls. Hopefully they're not cans of beer that you're doing, but you can do all kinds of lift. You can lift gallons of water. One of the best resistance training is standing up and sitting down, or standing up and holding the position before you come to a full stand, holding a middle position. In any case, resistance training tells the body it's time to build because it causes injury. That injury is in the form of micro trauma in the muscles. And that micro trauma, through an evolutionary mechanism, tells the body it's time to grow. All stresses do that. Not just the stress of resistance training on the muscles, also the stress of toxins in the liver. Do you know vegetables are poisonous? Vegetables are poisonous. We're all told to eat our vegetables, but vegetables are poisonous. But it turns out that many of those poisons turn on liver enzymes to fight cancer and to detoxify and to slow down the aging process, or to reverse the aging process even. The it's not just stress on the muscles, it's also toxins in the body, small amounts of toxins. You know, they do studies on alcohol and they find that if you drink a little bit of alcohol, you live longer. A little bit of alcohol, that's the key. A little bit of alcohol turns on liver enzymes to make anti-aging compounds. A little bit of toxicity is your friend. A little bit of toxicity is a good thing, whether it's internally in terms of toxins, or whether it's a broken tissue in terms of microtrauma, or stress in the brain. Our brains and our bodies have evolved not to want to stress. That's why we don't like to exercise, not to want to expend calories. We have an economical metabolism. Our biochemistry is designed to conserve calories because for a long time, there weren't calories. It's only recently that we've had a surfeit of calories. So putting stress on the body, using our example of weights, has a building effect, has an anabolic effect. And you want to start looking at stress as we want to start looking for opportunities to stress ourselves, not just in terms of our muscles, but in terms of our lives. Looking for opportunities to stress ourselves makes us grow, forces us to become better. As Nietzsche said in the 1800s, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that's how the body reacts. What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Now, there are certain enemies to building tissue. If you have inflammation in the body, that will slow down the body's ability to grow and repair itself. So as we get older, inflammatory assaults or inflammatory foods or inflammatory activities can slow down the repair process. One of the most pro-inflammatory things we do on a regular basis is eat. Every time we eat, our body inflames, called postprandial inflammation, meaning post-eating inflammation. So one of the best building strategies, one of the best anabolic strategies, one of the best things you could do to reverse that in the red condition to go in the black is eat less calories, not nutrition, but less calories. The diet is called the Cron diet, calorie restriction with optimum nutrition, CRON. And every study that's ever been done on longevity shows that the less you eat, the less calories you ingest, the longer you live. The best way to do that, of course, is to make sure you're getting your nutrients without calories, or at least getting a lot of nutrients with little calories. And this is the way we should be eating. And this is why nutritional supplementation is so helpful, because nutritional supplements don't have calories. A lot of times people will ask me about fasting. I'll say, oh, can I do my supplements when I fast? And the answer is yes, absolutely. Because when you fast, you're fasting from calories, not from nutrition. Nutrition can actually support the body while it's under calorie restriction. Calorie restriction, on the other hand, represents a stress on the body. So as would fit our discussion on the impact of the body to stress, calorie restriction has an anabolic effect, as long as it's not too much calorie restriction. And that gets us to another point about stress. See, the body doesn't grow when it's under stress. Stress simply triggers the growth. The body grows when it's resting. And it's this yang and yin balance of stress and rest that accounts for maximum growth. I call it exerrest, exercise and rest. And one of the biggest mistakes bodybuilders or athletes will make, weightlifters will make when they start a weightlifting program, or even just regular folks when they start an exercise program, is they'll overtrain. And overtraining is a great way to reduce the benefits, reduce the positive impacts of stress. On the other hand, after you train, after you exercise, after you stress, and I'm using muscle building as an example, but it could be stress on your brain, it could be stress on your liver, it could be stress through food, it could be stress, emotional stress, or mental stress, it could be any kind of stress. The body recovers during the rest period, and learning how to leverage the rest period is critical to maximizing the benefits from stress, because it's the rest period when the tissue grows. And this is great because We all love to rest. At least we all love to rest in the right context. Everybody thinks they love to rest, but have you ever been stuck in bed for 3 days and you couldn't get out of bed? How'd that feel? Not so good, right? You're resting. You get to rest all day in bed, 3 days, 2-3 days in bed. You get to rest. You'd be all rested, right? You think that's great. No, it's not great. Did you ever break your arm or break your leg?
Broke my back.
Oh, that's awful. But the back's a little bit different than the arm or the leg because the arm and the leg have lots of visible muscle. After you break your leg, you break your arm, you got a cast on. You take the cast off and your arm's been rested for 6 weeks. You think your arm would be nice and strong and ready to go, right? No, it's all shriveled and weak. Rest, sedation turns everything off. And learning how to rest in the appropriate context is how you get the benefits from rest. While we don't like being in bed for a day, even for hours, even for too long in one day, we love to be in bed after a hard day's work. We love the kind of rest that follows stress. That's the kind of rest we like. We don't like just sitting there resting. We like the rest after a workout, after something that gave us, that put pressure or put some kind of duress or stress on the body. That's the kind of rest we like. It's like when you go camping, you go hiking for all day long, for hours with a big backpack on, and you're hiking up mountains and up hills and through brush, and it's a lot of hard work. You sit down at the end of the day and you get this potato, and that potato may have dirt all over it. It may be half cooked, but it's the best tasting potato you ever had in your life because it happens after a workout. It happens after stress. We have a culture, we've got lots of the good stuff, supposedly, lots of the rest, lots of the relaxation, lots of the abundance, but it's out of context. Without the stress, without the work, without the hardness, we can't get the benefits, whether it's psychological benefits or physiologic benefits of the rest period. So learning to leverage the rest period is key. It's like we don't want to, people hate their Mondays, right? Oh my God, it's Monday. Got the whole week to go. I got 40 hours a week, 40 hours of work to do. People don't mind working. They just don't want to work all the time. You don't want to work every single day. If you only had to work 2 hours a day on Monday, say, you wouldn't want to leave the office. You would enjoy it. You'd find it fulfilling. You would want to go home and not do anything. It's this balance of duress and stress and rest that accounts for maximum joy, that accounts for maximum enjoyment of life, quality of life, and it accounts for maximum growth. And the good news is, when you compare stress to rest, all you need is a little bit of stress and a lot of long, luscious rest to maximize the growth. In fact, for anybody who wants to start a workout program, you will get your best benefits with 10 or 15 minutes a day, 4 or 5 days a week, as long as that 10 or 15 minutes is intense. They actually have a term for it. They call it high intensity training. They call it the HIT workout. Have you heard of that, Rebecca? The high intensity training workout. You only work for 10 or 15, you only work out for 10 or 15 minutes, 4 days a week, maybe 5 days a week. And the rest of the time you just rest and relax. That's how the body likes to grow, with intense stress and lots of long, luscious, relaxing rest. And that's called leveraging the rest period. And that's true about the whole body. Now, as I said earlier, I've been doing skin for a long time, and that's especially true about the skin. For you ladies who don't want to have wrinkles or want to reverse your wrinkles or want to have healthy, strong connective tissue and collagen in your skin, healthy, strong skin barrier, stratum corneum barrier, stimulate your skin with something intense, alpha hydroxy acids, or a scrub, a pumice scrub. I like alpha hydroxy acids 3 times a week maybe, and then once or twice a month with an esthetician. And then the rest of the time, you just relax the skin with nutrition. And that's the third point on this triangle of health: exercise, rest, and nutrition. If you're not nutriating, if you're not putting nutrition into the system, don't bother exercising because you're only going to accelerate the aging process. In fact, Dr. Wallach is famous for saying, for making fun of people who work out a lot and don't take care of their nutrition. And he's right. If you're not taking care of your nutrition, you're going to do more harm than good by stressing the body. Nutrients' job is to mitigate the damage caused by duress, caused by the stress, and to sustain and feed the growth that's stimulated by the duress. So the best time to do your nutritional supplements is when you come home from the gym. That's the perfect time to do your supplements, because now the supplements will go to calming down, to quieting down the inflammatory process that has been initiated by the damage that you caused by your workout, and sustaining the repair process. And that's the best time to do your nutrients. And by the way, when you're exercising, that's the best time to have an empty stomach. That's the best time to have nothing in your stomach, so your body has to burn its fat reserves in order to get energy. Now, if you're a marathon runner, you're a professional athlete, that might be a little bit different. But for most of us, exercising on an empty stomach will activate fat burning. It will allow the body to mobilize energy from stored energy that's trapped in fat. So when you want to start your best time to do your workout, first thing in the morning, you have had hopefully 8 hours of sleep, 7 hours of sleep. That's 8 or 7 hours of no calories, nothing in your stomach. And then eat breakfast after. Eat breakfast after. If you have a quality breakfast and have nutritional supplements, don't have a lot of calories, but have high nutrient density, you get the nutrients to sustain the repair process, the macronutrients to sustain the repair process, and the micronutrients to quiet down the inflammation. Now, as far as building up goes, as far as anabolism goes, all the nutrients work together. And I'm going to tell you a few that stand out for connective tissue and muscle tissue building, but you don't want to isolate just those nutrients. All the nutrients work together. It's like a baseball team or a football team or a basketball team. There's no one position that's more important than the others. You have a best team in the world, best baseball team in the world, but you don't have a shortstop, you're not going to win many games, even if all the other 8 players are superstars. Likewise, in the body, it's like an orchestra. All of the nutrients represent an instrument in the orchestra, and they're all important. That being said, there are a few that are specific for anabolism, for building tissue. Of course, the most important is going to be protein. And of all the proteins, whey protein is the absolute most important building protein. Whey protein is a specific fraction of the milk that a mother passes to their baby. In the case of most whey, it's cow whey, although there are wheys from other animals, but most whey comes from cows. And whey contains the highest concentration of building nutrients that are in milk. Milk is designed to build the animal, and those building nutrients are concentrated in the whey. And the protein of the whey contains amino acids that are specific for building, especially a series of amino acids called BCAAs, or branched chain amino acids. You can buy branched chain amino acids as supplements, but whey protein is nature's best source of BCAAs, branched chain amino acids. And I forgot to mention this, but I'll say this now. All of these strategies for building are not just important for people who want to look good in a bathing suit and for older folks who are maybe frail or fragile. They're also important for people who are pre and post surgery, especially surgery that involves the connective tissue or the muscle tissue. Pre and post surgery, you want to treat yourself like a bodybuilder. Pre-surgery, loading up with nutrients pre-surgery will have those nutrients ready to go as soon as the surgeon makes his cut. As soon as the scalpel goes into the skin, the healing process begins technically. And if you are loaded up pre-surgery with nutrients, they'll be present to initiate the healing process. Likewise, post-surgery, you want to keep the nutrients coming in. So it's especially important for folks who are going through some kind of surgery. All right, so protein is especially important. Whey protein is the best building protein. Egg protein is close. Eating eggs. Eggs also contain lots of other cofactors, so eggs should be an important part of an anabolic building diet. And then also, if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you're pretty much relegated to soy protein, which also contains building substances, but it also causes a lot of health issues. In the whey protein, also, in addition to the amino acids, you also have something called peptides, which are strings of amino acids that also initiate growth. Speaking of peptides, we have a great product called collagen peptides, and collagen peptides contain those molecules that tell the body it's been damaged and it's time to grow. Peptides in general act like what are called signaling molecules. They communicate messages, and the messages that collagen peptides communicate is grow, because collagen peptides, as I say, are usually in the bloodstream after damage. We can hack into the system. This is a classic biohack for you guys who like that term, biohacking, by putting peptides into the bloodstream orally. Another unbelievably valuable anabolic food for people pre-surgery, post-surgery, and also people who want to look good, want to be toned and fit, and also older folks, is bone broth or chicken soup made with real bones, not the Campbell's kind. All you got to do is you got to go to Whole Foods and get an organic chicken. It's pre-cooked for you. Throw it in the pot for 6 hours, 7 hours, and then spice it up. You can braise veggies in the pot before you start if you want to do it, or braise them in a frying pan and toss them in. It's super easy to make. If you have a crock pot, it's even easier. And it is the best anabolic food next to eggs and whey. In fact, it's probably in the same order of magnitude as eggs altogether. Bone broth and eggs, for that matter, contain the building blocks of connective tissue. Glucosamine is one of the building blocks of connective tissue. Another important building block of connective tissue is called hyaluronic acid. These days, everybody's heard of hyaluronic acid. The commercials, it's in skincare products, it's everywhere. When I was in pharmacy school, when I graduated pharmacy school, hyaluronic acid was like gold. It was way more expensive than gold. It was like $1,000 for a gram of it. And in the lab I was working in, we had hyaluronic acid. I worked in a skincare lab. It was kept under lock and key, and you had to measure it by the milligram. These days it's everywhere because now it comes out in biofermentation, and you can use hyaluronic acid as a supplement, but bone broth is one of the best ways to get natural hyaluronic acid. Again, not just for bodybuilders, for people who are pre and post surgery, hyaluronic acid is extremely valuable, and bone broth as well. And then also for older folks, and then pre and post surgery. Then there's one of the most underappreciated muscle building and connective tissue building nutrients, especially connective tissue. And this is one that we all hear about, but we have no idea of its value and importance, because sometimes when you hear about things all the time, you start to take it for granted. And this nutrient, vitamin C, is so taken for granted that everybody thinks they're getting enough of it because they're taking a multivitamin. A multivitamin can't even get enough vitamin C as far as building tissue for a small farm animal, let alone a human being. I don't want to get in too much into vitamin C. We've talked about it before, but to me as a healthcare professional, I find it tragic that we so undervalue this nutrient, almost to the extent that we don't realize that vitamin C is the quintessential, iconic, classic example of an anti-aging vitamin. Why? Because vitamin C is we say in biochemistry, the rate limiting molecule, the rate limiting step of collagen production. Vitamin C initiates the rate limiting step. No vitamin C, no collagen production. It's like a bottleneck. If there's no vitamin C, nothing's going through that bottle. Vitamin C opens up the bottle so biochemistry can proceed. No vitamin C, no collagen, period. Now, we do get enough vitamin C to keep us alive. We don't have scurvy necessarily, which is vitamin C deficiency disease, but we do have many of the signs of vitamin C deficiency: a vitamin C shortage. Joint disease like arthritis is related to vitamin C deficiency. Vascular disease and cholesterol plaques that are in the body to repair vascular lesions are vitamin C partially related, or can be all related to vitamin C deficiency. Arrhythmias can be related, heart arrhythmias can be related, and also mitral valve issues, prolapse issues, heart disease in general can be related to vitamin C deficiency. Ruptures and hernias and prolapses, vitamin C deficiency. Those wrinkles we hate on our skin, vitamin C deficiency. Osteoporosis, everybody wants calcium for their bones. Let me tell you something. Vitamin C is way more important as a nutrient than calcium, because without vitamin C, you ain't making bone. You can make bone without calcium, it'll be soft, but you can't make collagen without vitamin C, and collagen is the main protein in bone. So women who are taking estrogen, or taking calcium, or taking magnesium, or taking vitamin D, or God forbid, Boniva, or one of those nasty bisphosphonate drugs for their bones, would be much better advised to be using high doses of vitamin C. Now, of course, you do need calcium, and you need magnesium, you need vitamin K, and you need zinc, and you need all of them, but vitamin C is the rate limiting step. So for building the body, don't think you're getting enough vitamin C just because you're getting a multivitamin or just because you're eating oranges. Food is not a great way to get your vitamin C, because vitamin C is very volatile. It breaks down very quickly. So unless you're pulling the orange, first of all, an orange doesn't really even have a lot of vitamin C. It's about 30 milligrams of vitamin C in an orange right off of the tree. By the time it's been sitting in the store and been trucked and kept on ice, or however they're storing it, you don't have any idea how much vitamin C is in there. It could be 10 milligrams or 5 milligrams. The best food source of vitamin C, just as an aside, are chili peppers. But even then, a chili pepper's got about 400 milligrams of vitamin C. You need 2 grams of it, 2,000 milligrams of it. One of the reasons I like the Beyond Tangy Tangerine so much is because it gets you a big dose of vitamin C in addition to other nutrients. One of the most important building nutrients, next to vitamin C, might be the most important building nutrients, is another one that we don't appreciate as much as we should, and that is essential fatty acids, your ultimate EFAs. They're critical for building at the genetic level. EFAs, your ultimate EFAs, are epigenetic molecules. They turn on genetics. You guys probably know there's two essential EFAs. There's omega-3 and omega-6. And I've heard some nutritionists say, don't worry about omega-6. All you need is omega-3 because you get enough omega-6. That's wrong. That's bad advice. You need both omega-6 and omega-3. Sometimes you'll hear people say, don't use omega-6s because they're inflammatory. Just use omega-3s because they're anti-inflammatory. Again, that's wrong, because you can't have anti-inflammation until you have inflammation. They're both important for the healing process, especially pre and post surgery. Pre and post surgery, you want to make sure you're loading up, or whoever it is you're counseling, or if it's a friend or loved one, loading up with ultimate EFAs pre-surgery and ultimate EFAs post-surgery. So you got collagen, you've got vitamin C, you've got collagen peptides, you've got glucosamine, you've got high hyaluronic acid, you've got eggs, you've got whey protein if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, a bone broth also. If you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you're pretty much relegated to soy, which is probably the most anabolic vegetarian food or vegan food that you can eat. But soy has a lot of problems associated with it, and it's got nowhere near the anabolic or the building properties of animal foods. And I can fully commiserate with people who don't want to eat animals. I don't like eating animals either. But the fact is, there are powerful anabolic substances in animal foods, because anabolism is building. And in order to build an animal, you've got to have the raw material from an animal. If you want to build a plant, you can have the raw material from a plant. So if you're trying to get by, trying to build an animal, a human being, without animal raw materials, it's going to be tough. And there's a lot of things like glucosamine and high hyaluronic acid you're just not going to get if you're a vegan or vegetarian. But I can fully commiserate. I don't particularly like eating meat either, but it is That's just the way we're hardwired. We're hardwired to be meat eaters. Then there's the micronutrients, and they're all important. And this is one of the reasons why I like the Beyond Tangy Tangerine so much, is because it's a micronutrient drink, a micronutrient beverage. People who are drinking Gatorade, they're crazy for not drinking Beyond Tangy Tangerine. Gatorade is like sugar water with a couple of electrolytes. Beyond Tangy Tangerine is the most exquisitely formulated nutritional supplement I've ever been around. And I've been formulating nutritional supplements myself for over 30 years. And I'm telling you, there's nothing anywhere that's like Beyond Tangy Tangerine in terms of all of the nutrients, all the micronutrients that it provides for you. And the best way to do your Beyond Tangy Tangerine, by the way, is throughout the day. You can sip on your Beyond Tangy Tangerine while you're working out, if you're working out, or if you're doing puzzles or you're doing brain work of some kind, sipping on Beyond Tangy Tangerine as you're doing your stressful behavior will improve the body's response, the body's anabolic growth response to that stress. Then there's a couple accessory nutrients that aren't quite nutrients, but they're, I should say, supplements, dietary supplements that aren't nutrients. And probably the most important for building things is your ultimate enzymes. Not because the ultimate enzymes themselves are responsible for building, although they probably have some anabolic properties on their own, but mostly because they're anti-inflammatory. The ultimate enzymes are so anti-inflammatory that if you take them on an empty stomach, they can relieve pain, arthritis pain, back pain, dental pain, migraine headache pain. All of these kinds of painful conditions can be improved or even completely resolved by using your ultimate enzymes. The ultimate enzymes are anti-inflammatory, and they're incredibly valuable pre and post surgery, like your EFAs and like your collagen peptides and like your vitamin C. And then also the Nightly Essence gives you both probiotics and digestive enzymes. Probiotics are also very important for their anti-inflammatory properties, because what's called dysbiosis, messed up gut bacteria, dysbiosis means messed up or out of balance gut bacteria, which is a big problem for folks. That can increase the amount of inflammatory factors that get into the bloodstream. So using your Nightly Essence, I like the Nightly Essence. There's a few probiotic supplements that we have now at Youngevity, but I personally am fond of the Nightly Essence because you get digestive enzymes with the Nightly Essence. So the ultimate enzymes, the Nightly Essence, which contains enzymes, the glucogel caps, these are collagen peptides. These are dietary supplements that are not nutritional supplements. Vitamin C is a nutritional supplement that could be very important for building tissue. Zinc is also important, and magnesium and calcium are also important for building tissue. And then one nutrient that's got really important anti-inflammatory properties that doesn't get a lot of press, but is really helpful for post-workout soreness, which a lot of folks have, is vitamin E. Vitamin E is not involved in any building chemistry, but it is the body's most important, or one of the body's most important anti-inflammatory nutrients. So for all inflammatory conditions, it doesn't have to be post-resistance training or post-workout inflammatory conditions, but any inflammatory condition, particularly arthritis and joint inflammation, or also pre and post-surgery, vitamin E can be helpful for accelerating healing. Vitamin E is also a natural blood thinner, so it also accelerates healing. In fact, vitamin E's blood thinning properties are so significant that there are doctors who will tell you not to take vitamin E pre and post surgery. I don't agree with that at all. I think that's exactly when you want to take vitamin E. But if you are going to go pre and post surgery, tell your doctor that you're using vitamin E. So resistance training, exercise, stress, it's not just for people who want to be athletes or bodybuilders. It's not just for folks who want to look good in a bathing suit. It's especially important for older people, because it improves your quality of life when you can move your body and when you can function and do all the things that's important to do. And by the way, when we move our body secretes feel-good hormones. So bodily movement actually feels good from a neurochemical perspective. And so it's especially important for older folks, and also pre and post surgery. Resistance training is the best way to do it. You don't need a fancy gym membership. You don't need heavy weights. You can do it just by walking. Stairs are a great way to get some anabolism, to reverse that catabolic, anabolic equation. So it's pro-anabolic, sitting up out of a seated position or standing up out of a prone position, out of a lying down position. Those are great exercises you can do. In fact, older folks, if they're able to do that, that's an awesome exercise to get up out of a lying down position on the ground, just to practice it while you can. So you build those lifting muscles as you get older. And then it's really important to use nutritional supplements post-workout. That's when the body is maximally receptive to nutrients, and the nutrients will have a calming and quieting effect on the inflammation that's initiated by workouts. And then when you're working out, the best time to work out is on an empty stomach first thing in the morning. Ideally, if you work out first thing in the morning, that will set you up with all your happy hormones that were turned on by your workout for the whole day. You work out at the end of the day, you're going to miss out an opportunity to enjoy the benefits of all the quality of life inducing, the improved quality of life inducing hormones that are initiated and activated by your workout. And also first thing in the morning, you're on an empty stomach. Caloric restriction, speaking of an empty stomach, caloric restriction is one of the most important building strategies, ironically, because we all are under the impression that you need to have a lot of calories to build. You need some calories, but you really need a lot of nutrients, thus the importance of the Cron diet, calorie restriction, optimum nutrition. And that is my story on weightlifting and lifting weights and bodybuilding.
Wow. I don't know about any of you, but I learned a ton. And as I get started in my day, I'm like, right to work. And then I get to the end of the day, I'm too exhausted to work out.
First thing in the morning.
But I get so energized from helping people that I forget about myself. And for those of you who are coaches, we cannot forget about ourselves. Guilty.
Get one of those Rebecca, get the headphones that you can talk to people and get on your treadmill or take a walk. Take a brisk walk while you're talking to folks. First thing in the morning, do your calls.
That's it. That's it. There's always calls we can listen to or have our own.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So we should take questions and then also, Rebecca, how do folks sign up or join up if they want to join up? Do we have folks who aren't part of Youngevity on the call?
So
by the way, hello.
there may be some people that are not here. So we want to make sure that we remind you, or that are not here already, part of our not supposed to stop recording. Let's keep going. All right. So for those of you who are not already part of the Youngevity family, get back with the person that invited you to this program. Make sure that you thank them, because I've some of this material I have not heard all in one place. There's bits and pieces here and there, but Pharmacist Ben, I know you want us to be our own authorities.
Yes, your own health authority.
But it takes getting pure knowledge from people who are authorities to help us become our own.
Yes, I love giving out the knowledge, but when it comes to taking that knowledge and putting it into your life, you're your own authority. Yeah, I have a lot of information. I'm not even that smart. I just know a lot of stuff. And I just know a lot of stuff. It's kind of like when you're interested in something, you know a lot about it. Like you're interested in your husband or your wife or your child or your grandchild, you know about them. I love nutrition and chemistry and biochemistry and biology, so I know a lot about it. I'm not that smart. And I certainly don't ever want to be anybody's authority. I never want to position myself as an authority. I'm just like Yoda. All I am is just helping. You're Luke Skywalker. I'm just Yoda. That's all. I'm just kind of guiding people through the process, but by no means do I ever want to be an authority. And I don't even like the word. I'm from the 1970s. I grew up in the 70s. Rebecca, you're a little younger than me. What's that? Yes.
Anti-authority.
Yes, we didn't trust authority. I don't trust authority.
Well,
authority, author. Authorities don't get author. Somebody's writing your story. When somebody's your authority, they're writing your story for you.
I want to write my own story.
Yes. Write your own story. Be your own authority. Correct.
Yeah. So I had I had many years where somebody else was the authority, and that was not a happy story.
No.
Not a happy
very
story at all. So I'm glad that I saw the light.
Right.
And
So do we
it
have
introduced me to you and a lot of the people that are on this call. And I'm so excited to be able to offer this information to you. So again, get back with the person that invited you to this program and tell them, hey, whatever Ben was talking about, I want it. And they'll know. Tell them it's about muscle. And then this replay will be available on criticalhealthnews.com in the next day or so. John T. McCollier is amazing at getting these up rather quickly. So since it is late in the day, I'm not expecting him to have it up today. Just give him some grace as we give ourselves grace also going through this journey. So we are going to have some Q&A. So we've got a few minutes here and we do have a couple hands up, Ben. Go ahead.
my mic? Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
Did you want to say something?
No, I'm just waiting for a question.
Oh, okay. Well, let's go ahead and go to the first hand that is up. And for those of you who are here because you are part of the Critical Health News and you received the email invitation, which was kind of funny, but we're not going to go into that. Reply back to that invitation and somebody from our team will get back with you for getting your questions answered. So TC, you have your hand up first. Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hi, TC. Is that Tom Schnault?
I don't know if it's, but they got bumped. So they must have had a poor connection. But now we're going to go to Doria. So Doria, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, Becca.
Hello.
Hi, pharmacist Ben. I have a question, actually, if this is okay, about my granddaughter. She's 9 years old, and she has eczema problems. Started on her back, and then it got up.
No more. Please. First of all, she can never have eczema again when you do what I tell you.
Okay, it's a little hard to hear you.
I don't know what's wrong with my computer today. Is that better?
Now we can hear you. That's better.
Maybe I'm just far too far away. Okay, let's see. How's that?
A little better, thank you.
Okay, so what's your name now? I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Doria.
Doria. Are you in Australia? Are you in Australia? Are you down under?
No, I'm in Oregon.
Oh, you're in Oregon. Okay. All right, so here's the deal. Eczema is a reaction. Okay? And many health issues, especially skin issues, are reactive. They're reactions. Okay, reaction, I love words. Okay? I always talk, words are very instructive. If you can break down words, you can learn a lot. Reaction is made up of two parts, re and action. The re is short for response. So eczema is a response to an action. Are you with me? So guess what? If you don't have the action, you don't have the response. So all you got to do is figure out the action that's causing the response. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is logic. This is just logic. There's no medicine here. You don't need a biology degree. You don't need 8 years of medical school. You don't need to have a little plaque on your shield, on your bookcase that says you're some kind of doctor or authority or whatever you are. All you need is logic. What you got to do, or she has to do, or her mother has to do, is figure out what is the action that's causing the reaction. Now, in the body, in terms of the body's chemistry, and in the skin particularly, reactions are initiated in the bloodstream. So the reaction that's occurring is occurring in the bloodstream. So what we have to do is we got to figure out what's getting into her bloodstream. Now, is she is your little 9-year-old girl in the back alley shooting up crack? No, I don't think so. Or shooting up heroin, not crack, but whatever. I don't think so. She's not injecting anything. So where would she get things into her bloodstream? Let me guess. Maybe you should guess, Doria, you said?
Doria, yeah, kind of like Gloria, only with a D.
Sorry. Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
Well,
How are things into her blood if they're not injected?
well,
Eating
she's
them.
been vaccinated, and I don't
Well,
know.
Vaccinations can happen. That's right. Vaccinations can cause skin problems. Absolutely. But more often than not in a kid, it's related to a hyperactive immune system from the bloodstream. I didn't need to tell you all that, but I want you to understand it because I don't just want to tell you what to do. I want you to figure it out. So most likely suspects are going to be dairy, legumes, which include soy and peanuts and nuts, grains, seeds. What else? What is a trigger? Eggs can be a trigger. Okay, these are the most common ones. It could be anything. Those are the most common ones. There's also going to be associated when kids have eczema, runny noses, puffy eyes, problems with breathing. She has something like that. She's got to have something like that. Bowel problems, gas
Yeah.
problems, bloating problems. All of those are signs that she ate the wrong food. Okay, so you got to find out what that is. Now, it helps to chart if you're where you write things down, and then right when she flares up, hopefully she flares up. Flare-ups are great because they give you real-time information. So you should look for foods. Now, on the other side of the equation, there's some important nutritional supplements, very important nutritional supplements that can help with eczema. Probably the most important are the Ultimate EFAs. Okay, that's probably the most important, but there's many other ones. If she has digestive issues, she probably needs to be on either the root beer belly or the nightly essence. I like the nightly essence. Root beer belly is a little tastier. And I think we have a couple other ones now. There's another one that's got probiotics and prebiotics in it.
Yeah,
Do
the
you know
Pre
it?
Plus probiotic is one. That's a
What is it
taste stick. Pre
There's one that comes.
probiotic.
No, there's one in a pound jar. And I forgot the name of it. It just came out. But anything focused on the digestive system with probiotics. Okay. If she is bloating and gassy after specific kinds of foods like protein foods, the ultimate
No, she
enzymes.
just gets constipated.
Constipated is the same. Constipated is like the intestine is in fight or flight mode. Intestine freezes up. When the intestine when there's toxins or something that's disturbing the bowels, the intestine will freeze up. That's what causes constipation. It's like an emergency response at the level of the intestine. So something's getting in there. But as far as the supplements go, essential fatty acids, the Ultimate EFAs, probiotics, the nightly essence, the ultimate enzymes, maybe apples, a little tiny half a teaspoonful of apple cider vinegar with meals. The ultimate zinc is very important, and the ultimate selenium can be helpful as well. And so those are nutrients. Now, if she does everything I just told you, she does the nutrients, and if she's 9 years old, you got to be a little bit like give her maybe half of one of those ultimate seleniums, and half of one of those zincs. It wouldn't
A
hurt her to give a
day,
whole
like a half a day.
day. How much does she weigh? How
I
much
don't
is she?
know. I'm so,
Okay, it wouldn't hurt her to give one, but half to one of the ultimate zinc and the ultimate selenium. But here's the good news. Not only when you figure this out, will she never have eczema again, ever, without a steroid cream, without any intervention, never. I'm telling you, it will disappear forever. But she will also reduce her risks of further immune problems down the road. Eczema is an immune system issue, a defensive issue. That reaction is a defensive reaction. So not only will she never have eczema again, but she'll be reducing her risk of headache, further problems down the road. And also she'll relieve her constipation once you work on the foods. And I encourage you to do it. And let her do it. Let her participate. Let her see like the consequences of her lifestyle choices of what she's doing, for better or worse. Let her see that she can change, that she has control over her body. And this is a great lesson for her at a young age.
okay, so one other little question. Doc Wallach always says no gluten. So are
yeah.
you?
Here's the thing about gluten. Okay, Doc is he's talking to a lot of people, and so he's making it simple for people. I'm not that smart to make things simple. So what I say is, look out for problems. See, gluten is one thing, but grain, sometimes people think, the reason I hesitate to say gluten is because people say, oh, I just eat gluten-free bread, or I just drink gluten-free beer, or I just have gluten-free brownies, they think that gluten is the thing. There's 100 things in grains and seeds. Gluten gets all the press. Gluten is kind of like the meme of the day, flavor of the day. But there's all kinds of things in gluten-free eggplants that could be a problem. Gluten-free potatoes can be a problem. Gluten-free eggs can be a problem. You see what I'm saying? So yes, gluten is one of a lot of things. Gluten is a protein that's found in grains, especially barley, rye, oat, and wheat, but there are gluten-like substances in corn. There are gluten-like substances in quinoa. So people think, oh, well, I'm just gonna have corn because there's no gluten, but there's other compounds in gluten that are in corn that are similar to gluten and are close enough. You follow? So yes, gluten's a problem for most people or for a lot of people, but you're not out of the woods just by being gluten-free.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Doria. Doria.
Thank you, Doria. And Ben, I think what you were trying to think of was the microbiome.
Yes, that's it, microbiome.
So
How
we have a room full of really smart coaches. And thank you, Debbie, for putting up
Thank you.
microbiome. And then we also have the apple cider vinegar gummies, which are a lot easier to take than the liquid.
You know, when you take apple cider vinegar, you get a little buzz.
I like my gummies. I like my gummies. All right, let's go to the next question. And Jill, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hey, Jill.
Hello there. This was an awesome call. Thank you so much, Ben and Becca.
Yeah.
Really appreciate it. So I wish I had a lot more information than this, but I'm going to go with what I have. A guy who's, I don't know, he's about 62 years old. He told me that he has extremely dry mouth, that it's
Okay.
hard because he kind of talks for a living. His mouth is dry. The only other thing that I know that he has wrong with him at this point is he has something on the palm of his hand. Could be eczema. It's like a really big dry patch on the palm.
Is he on any medication?
I don't know. That was we met at a class reunion and I'm supposed to follow up with him this week, but I'm just trying to get ahead of what a dry mouth might be other than EFAs.
That's very good. I was going to tell you EFA is very good, Joe.
Healthy Brain and Heart Pack.
What's that?
Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, but I wasn't sure what else.
EFAs are very important for secretions. Also, vitamin A is very important for secretions. Of course, you'll get that in a lot of the longevity products. The Ocuvite, the Synaptive, what else? The Multi, of course. Vitamin A is very important for secretions and essential fatty acids. By the way, this is also true for dry eyes. And then as far as the eczema goes, again, that tells me that there's something that's getting into his bloodstream that's causing some kind of duress. Now, you could always eliminating, as we were talking with Doria, gluten, eggs, peanut, soy, any of the trigger foods. And I don't even want to say the foods, especially a food diary, but also using supplements like EFAs, for example, like vitamin A. I forgot to say, Doria, EFAs, vitamin A is also important for eczema. Zinc, selenium, vitamin D from the sun is also helpful for treating eczema. And the combination will take care of the eczema, and it may also take care of the dry mouth. The dry mouth may be a sign that he's not getting certain nutrients, particularly fatty nutrients, and especially the EFAs. And also, I forgot to say, this is also important, is something called choline. You'll get choline in the ultimate enzymes in the form of lecithin. Choline is not only important for a dry mouth and for secretions, it's also important for brain health. And that's one of the reasons why eggs and fish, for that matter, have a reputation for being brain food. They're both good sources of choline. So if he's on any medication, that can cause a problem, and it's going to be tough to counteract that. Benadryl is a classic dry mouth inducing drug, by the way. A lot of folks are using Benadryl, or any antihistamine for that matter. And then using things like EFAs, vitamin A, secretion, pro-secretion nutrients, working on the fat and the fat metabolism. There may be a fat absorption issue also, which would account for fat deficiencies in fatty nutrients. And choline is a very important fatty nutrient that can support a neurotransmitter, a nerve chemical called acetylcholine, which is important for the brain as well as for secretions in the mouth.
Yeah, so you said it's in the ultimate enzymes, so that's going to help with absorption, and it'll get the choline. I'm just I'm just totally guessing. What's that?
Are you a health coach?
I didn't hear. Yeah, I am.
Well,
Mhm.
you know your stuff. You know your stuff. You've been well trained. Whoever taught you.
Oh, thank you. Um,
What were
I'm
you gonna
just,
say?
I'm guessing, like completely pulling it out of the air and guessing that potentially the medication you could be on would be a statin. Would,
Statin
if that's,
statin wouldn't do that. You're looking for something like a brain drug would do it.
yeah,
Yeah. It usually involves drugs that are they call them anticholinergics or have anticholinergic.
well, he's
properties.
a psychiatrist, so I
Well, he-
guess that would be a possibility.
Yeah, that's true. He might be, but tell him that's if he's a psychiatrist, then he'll appreciate this. Tell him that is an anticholinergic effect. You can remember that.
Anticholinergic.
Cholinergic, choline, acetylcholine. Have you heard of acetylcholine?
Uh-huh.
Acetylcholine is a neurotransmitter that's associated with secretions. And when you're doing something that has anticholinergic properties, you dry up.
Uh-huh.
That's why Benadryl has
Yeah.
that drying effect.
Yeah, that
And they-
makes
by the
sense.
way, they also found recently that people who take a lot of Benadryl are at high risk for dementia for that same reason. Because acetylcholine is also important for intellectual function, for cognitive function. So he'll know about anticholinergics. Psychiatrists study that. So tell him that's an
Okay.
anticholinergic response. He'll totally understand. And then also tell him that he'll understand everything we're talking about. Tell him to think fats and fat metabolism for the eczema in addition to some kind of toxicity that's activating the immune system. All of this will
Okay.
make perfect sense.
Yeah, I think the synapse is a great choice. Thank you for that, because he did tell me that he just wanted to feel good again, but that's kind of common to hear at 62. But I did kind of feel like maybe he was implying from the brain, you know what I mean? So I think that might be a
Hey,
good
Jill.
choice too. Yeah,
So, can I talk to him?
sure.
Would you hook me up somehow? I
Yeah.
don't know how to get a hold of you, Joe.
Yeah.
Send me. Yeah, I would love to talk to him. If he's a psychiatrist, you guys, everything I tell you here, doctors love this stuff. They eat this stuff up because what I'm telling you here cannot be disputed. This is not my opinion I'm giving you. This is flat out biochemistry and biology. And the more savvy a medical professional is, the more they love this stuff. So if you have any doctors or healthcare professionals who you want to talk to about longevity, I'm happy to do it, and I love doing it because then I can really go dive deep into the biochemical logic of all this stuff. And this is not opinion. This is biochemical logic. You understand the language of biochemistry. This is just the grammar and the syntax that I'm giving you. And I love talking to medical professionals, especially a psychiatrist. He would love this stuff. So if
Awesome.
if you can make that happen, that'd be great.
All right. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Jill, if you don't have Ben's number, I am messaging it to you. Next, let's go to Rhonda. Rhonda, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello,
Hi, Rhonda.
how are you? Hi.
Nice to not see you. Oh, there you are.
I'm sorry, it's late at night and I'm in my car,
Okay,
so
no
I don't know if
worries.
you can see me. Hey, good to
Dude,
see you.
and you
You're amazing to listen to. I just
Appreciate
learn
it.
so much every time. You're an amazing health professional and I appreciate all your work.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that.
My daughter has had a problem for many years. It's little white bumps on her. She's 28 now, and
Wonderful.
little white bumps on her skin. They've always been there. Well, she recently went to a dermatologist and he told her that she has keratosis pilaris.
All right. So here, I know all about it. So keratosis pilaris, KP, is also known as chicken skin. And if you
Chicken
have all-
skin?
that's the other name
Chicken
for KP.
skin?
I don't mean to offend anybody, but that is literally what they call it. KP, keratosis pilaris. I love these diagnoses because these diagnoses we get these diagnoses and we think we have a disease of some kind, and so that's what it sounds like. But keratosis pilaris, like all diagnosis, is just Latin for what's happening. So for example, multiple sclerosis means you got lots of places in your body that are getting hard. They call it multiple sclerosis. What's another good one? Retinitis pigmentosa means you got pigment in your eye. And they make these things sound like diseases. KP, keratosis pilaris, means you got hard bumps in the hair follicles. These aren't diseases, these are just what's happening. Okay, so keratosis pilaris, you can't do anything about that. But little hard bumps in your follicles, you can do lots about that. In other words, you can't treat a name. You can't treat a diagnostic or a diagnosis. You can treat the biochemistry. And that's what we want to understand, not the name of our disease, but what's happening. She's got little bumps forming in her follicles. And so it causes the little bumps cause a rough appearance to the skin. That's why they call it chicken skin. It's a classic sign of fat deficiency and fatty nutrient deficiency. Right off the bat, vitamin A deficiency will cause that condition. I'm not saying that she has a vitamin A deficiency. I'm just telling you, you understand the distinction I'm making? I didn't say she had a vitamin A deficiency, but I'm telling you that if you take vitamin A out of an animal's diet or a person's diet, they'll develop keratosis pilaris. So it could be very well that she's got a vitamin A deficiency. Something as simple as that will make a difference. You can also use topical vitamin A in the form of retinol on the skin. And that will not only deliver vitamin A locally to the cells and to the skin, but it will also help smooth and soften the skin surface as well. Essential fatty acids, the ultimate EFAs, must have, okay? And I would take like 12 a day, ultimate EFA plus. The ultimate EFA plus, by the way, has got extra something called GLA in it, which is one of the most underappreciated of all the dietary fatty acids. It's not an essential fatty acid, but it's super valuable for anti-inflammation and also for skin problems. So I would be using the ultimate EFA plus. Now, she may also, sometimes when people have these signs of deficiencies in fats, she may also have a problem absorbing her fats. I don't know that. If that's the case, there's a whole kind of bunch of digestive things. How old is she?
28.
She's 20? She's 28. Okay, and she's had this her whole life?
Yep, since she was young, never been able to get rid of it. The dermatologist said her skin is producing too much protein, keratin, and that blocks the follicles.
Yes, that's the hardness. That's exactly right. But what's causing the problem, what's causing the keratin to be produced is a deficiency in specific nutrients that slow things down. Vitamin A slows things down. You know, the default state of a cell is to grow. The hard work, the nutrition comes from not growing, from putting the brakes on. We don't want our cells to grow and grow and grow. They got to be controlled growth. Cells grow in stages and steps, and they got to linger at each stage and step appropriately for the appropriate enough duration for that cell to be healthy. When things are going choo, 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 that's when you get skin problems like psoriasis, like keratosis pilaris, like acne. That's when you get internal problems like tumors and cysts and fibroids. All of these are caused by cells dividing too rapidly. They're not lingering and savoring each step on the journey that they take from birth to death. Sound familiar, by the way? You know, we don't linger at each step. We don't savor each step, and we pay the price because we don't form correctly. Likewise with a cell. So vitamin A is a primary braking nutrient. It puts the brakes on things. That's why vitamin A is so important for the fetus. In fact, vitamin A is so important for the fetus that medical professionals will say, don't take vitamin A when you're pregnant. Have you ever heard this? Don't take vitamin A when you're pregnant. Why? Because they know that vitamin A is important for the development of things. And they're concerned that if you take extra vitamin A, you might throw off development. That is unlikely to happen, but that's the logic. So vitamin A is very important for the slowing down of skin cells. This is why vitamin A is the treatment of choice for acne. Vitamin A is the treatment of choice for eczema, vitamin treatment of choice for eczema and psoriasis. And vitamin A is the treatment of choice for KP, keratosis pilaris. In addition to your ultimate EFAs, I'd also be getting her on zinc. I'd also be getting her on selenium. And you also want to make sure that she's digesting appropriately. And there's a very good possibility she's not digesting her fats. How's her menstrual cycles? Any issues
She's
with
always,
menstrual
they've usually been heavy most of her life.
cycles?
And
Bloaty,
she's
uncomfortable?
pregnant. She's pregnant now, and she has had bloaty and
Okay.
weight. She just recently discovered the gluten issue, and so she's really working to eat as clean as possible. But she's aware of the gluten, and she feels dramatically different when she eats gluten.
These are good. She's not absorbing her fats. In addition to not getting them, she's not absorbing them. So you got to do all the absorption things in addition to taking them. Fats, fats, fats. When it comes to skin health, fats, 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 fats. And retinol, topically, you know what retinol is? Have you heard of retinol? High
Yes.
concentration. Get yourself a 5% retinol gel, or have her get a 5% retinol gel and apply it directly to the skin. It will change the texture of the skin topically, and it will help her. It'll actually deliver vitamin A to the skin cells. That's one of the cool things about topical vitamin A, topical retinol. You guys have heard of retinol. It's kind of all the rage these days. You can actually feed your skin cells with retinol by putting it on topically, with vitamin A by putting it on topically. I'm a big fan of topical retinol.
Is that a prescription, or can you buy it over the counter? And what's a good one to get? Or do we have it in longevity?
Well, you don't. I don't. Just you can find it. Just search for retinol. You want a good retinol? Get it. Get my number from Rebecca. Actually, I'll just give you guys my number: 303-817-7665. You can call me whenever you want. I'm happy to help everybody who's got a health challenge.
Do
Like
you
I
sell
say,
that yourself out of your product line that you have?
I make skincare products, but I don't really want to talk about my skincare products on this call. But yes, you can
Gotcha.
find
Okay.
on there. But you guys can call me if you have your own health challenges, or if you have another friend, loved one, patient, whatever, somebody you're working with has a health challenge. Also, you can call me if you want to talk about the business. I don't know a lot about the business, but I know about the health side of the business. So you can always call me. Of course, you can always call Rebecca. And then you can also I love talking to healthcare professionals, as I was telling, I think it was Doria. It was Judy. I love talking to healthcare professionals, especially. So if you have doctors, the more they know, the more they'll love with the stuff I'm talking about. Okay.
Now, real quick, you just mentioned cyst having to do
Yes.
with the vitamin A, because I was just told, I'm looking into it, that I have a cyst in my kidney.
Well, that's a sign. Cysts inside the body are a sign that the body is under the cells of the body are under great duress. Remember, tumor, cysts, all those things, growths, fibroids, all of those things are the body's response to trauma or damage. So these are usually tissues that have a lot of stress put on. Kidneys are doing a lot of work. They're more prone to cysts because they're humming along all the time, and they're architected in a very they're sculpted in a very tiny fine way. The architecture of the microscopic architecture of a kidney is so delicate. If you could see it under a microscope, it's the most incredible, delicate thing. And what is it doing? It's filtering the blood. And that's where the toxicity in the body comes from. And the most important toxin and the most relevant toxin for the blood that affects the kidney, the kidney's still in the blood, sugar. And so you want to regard all kidney issues as blood sugar issues, which is not a knock on you because it's just the world. It's almost impossible not to have a blood sugar issue with the way, we eat.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
It's a kidney disease is an epidemic. Kidney disease should always first and foremost be regarded as a blood sugar problem. It's the major reason for kidney disease.
Wow, that would have been the last thing I would have thought of.
You may also have some estrogen is also tumorigenic or cystogenic. It'll induce cysts. And then the nutritional deficiencies can compound the problem. Like I said, like I was saying earlier, vitamin A is important for putting the brakes on growth. Cysts are a kind of hypergrowth. Now, I'm not saying that vitamin A is the cure-all or that you're deficient in it, but that's its role, is to kind of put the brakes on cell growth. All right. Thank you, Rhonda. And thank you,
very
Becca.
much. That was awesome. Thank you.
So don't go away, because I have a question. Ringworm.
Ringworm. That's a sign of dysbiosis in the skin. The skin and in the body. The skin and the body harbor or are host to trillions. And I mean, can you even conceive what a trillion is? Well, there's many trillion, many hundreds of trillions of creatures that live on your skin and live in the body and live in your lungs. They're in your eyelashes. They're in your intestine. They're everywhere. We're just like carrying cases for these micro critters, micro creatures, microbes. And these microbes include bacteria, they include funguses and yeasts, and they include viruses. Your body there's more viruses in your body right now than there are stars in the galaxy. We're swimming in microbes. When the microbial balance is thrown off, certain things overgrow that shouldn't overgrow. Ringworm is one of those microbes that's overgrowing in response to dysbiosis. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a fungal infection. It's a microbial infection that's caused by an imbalance in all the critters. This is not unusual because of the foods we eat mostly, and because of the foods we don't eat, the nutrients we don't get, I'll say. So there's certain nutrients that sustain a healthy microbiome. And as this is called the microbiome, by the way, this is the universe of bacteria. So there's the microbiome inside the body. It's thrown off by sugar. It's thrown off by processed food. It's thrown off by lack of nutrients. It's thrown off by stress. It's thrown off, or duress. It's thrown off by a lot of things. And then there's the microbiome on the skin, which is thrown off by topical products. It's thrown off by cleansers and preservatives in topical products. It's thrown off by nutritional deficiencies, internal nutritional deficiencies. So you want to work on the microbiome. I would be looking for food problems. Does she have food problems? Is this for you?
Well, we've gotten rid of a lot of food problems. So the
Does she have
skin
have a
looks,
history of, hang on, does she have a history of food problems?
only like coconut.
I mean, like
Nothing.
gas discomfort. I mean, like bloating, gas, discomfort, constipation, diarrhea, some kind of digestive issue.
Maybe a little bit.
So that's where you're going to get the microbiome thrown off. And I'm not saying to make her bad or make her wrong, but it just puts the dots together to form a picture. So there's something going on with the microbiome is what I'm saying. Long story short, you're not going to be able to, topically, you can use an anti-inflammatory, and that's what they do, or antifungal, and that's what they do. And you can find antifungals in the drugstore, but you really want to figure out what's going on with the microbiome. It's a dysbiotic condition. Does she have any, how old is she, by the way?
51.
51, okay. So does she have any other health challenges?
No.
Positive.
Positive.
Find that unlikely. Ringworm doesn't appear in a vacuum.
Okay, it's me.
Oh,
And I'm just guessing on this, okay? But it's like I've gone through and I'm like, what on earth? There's just one spot.
well, you don't just have one spot. You don't just have one cockroach. You got a bunch. It doesn't work that way. That's not how the body works. So ringworm is a symptom of something in the metabolism that's thrown off. So also, I don't want to get too personal here, but you may be having some estrogen issues. Estrogen issues will change the microbiome on the skin. If your estrogen changes, that can affect the skin. And there's a lot of skin problems that occur when their estrogen starts changing. So I don't know where you're at with that whole thing, but that could be an issue too. If you're in that period, in that time period of life, and that's, what I'm saying. When your estrogen's fluctuating.
Change of life.
Change of life. And by the way, for the change of life, you guys, ultimate EFAs act like natural estrogen. And oh, by the way, the hot flashes, the anxiety, the night sweats, the insomnia, the mood changes, the loss of body weight or of connective tissue, the looseness, those are all signs of elevated cortisol. Lowering cortisol is the best way to coast through menopause. Cortisol is stress hormone. So it's not an estrogen issue. And while you may kind of hide the symptoms a little bit with estrogen, it doesn't work long-term, and it's got a whole host of side effects. Your ultimate EFAs are natural ways to balance your hormone. It's a natural supplement for balancing your hormone, and your ultimate EFAs have estrogen-like properties. Just as an aside, that's a bonus.
So that's a big bonus, because fortunately I don't have all those. I don't have mood swings. I don't have that PMS type stuff. Just ask me.
I was not referring to you. I hope you didn't think I was.
No. So all good, all good. Are you drinking milk from a jug?
H2O.
Okay. All right. So everybody, I hope that you learned something from today.
We love longevity is all about helping people understand their bodies, education, information. And thank you, Becca, for doing these once a month. I know.
Yes. And one more thing that I wanted to add, because you were mentioning, specific nutrients like selenium and zinc. They all have cofactors that help them work better. And that's where longevity is different.
That's right. All the nutrients work together. And actually, selenium and zinc are themselves cofactors. So for other nutrients, for enzymes, this is what minerals do, by the way. One of the major roles of the minerals is they act as activators or cofactors. The vitamins too, by the way, act as cofactors for enzymes. Beyond tangy tangerine, if you had to boil it down to its biochemical value, it's the activators for enzymes. Enzymes are the biochemistry, and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine is the activators for all of the enzymes that are responsible for making the body. It's concentrated activators.
All right. And another bonus.
We'll see you next month.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. And Ben, you are awesome. We greatly, greatly appreciate you. And I know that you don't like this whole disclaimer thing, but because of where we are and having to be compliant, the product disclaimer, the food and dietary supplement product sold by Longevity are intended to contribute to the daily diet and overall health and not intended for use in the prevention, treatment, mitigation, or cure of any disease or health-related condition. Individuals who have or suspect they have an illness or who wish to commence a diet or exercise program should consult an appropriately licensed healthcare practitioner for a medical history evaluation, diagnosis, treatment, and health recommendations. But we are our own authorities. You heard it right here. So everybody, have a great one. Thank you again for joining us here on Q&A with pharmacist Ben Fuchs and myself, Becca Dukes. Until next time, bye for now. Oh, and thank you for my co-hosts for making sure everything runs smoothly. Ruth Ellen Sanchez and Heather Bowen and Dr. Judy Reynolds. I appreciate you all and keeping the information rolling through the chat. So everybody, again, look for the replay of this program on criticalhealthnews.com. Yes, criticalhealthnews.com. We're going to have the replay of this, but also on our YouTube channel. We make these available as a resource to you so that you can share information from a third party, and we bring on the professionals the people that know what they're talking about, the people who have that education so that we don't have to. So everybody, have a great night. Bye for now.